Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to the Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts tournament. Today, the first semi-final is going to be Spain versus the UK. Spain with the España class, well-rounded warriors. The UK, short-ranged firepower in the form of secondary 8.9-inch guns that have set a lot of fires against their previous opponents. Whoever wins this moves on to the final. Place your bets down below in the comment section, and let's find out who our first finalist is going to be. It is on. We have the Immortalica class, the Barfleur, the Royal Sovereign, and the Immortalica herself. Primary armament, 6 14-inch guns. That's all. Well, all primary. Secondaries, 8.7-inch long-barrel guns with a range of 16.5 for HE. Which is what these things are focused around. The Spanish ships, by contrast, well-rounded. They got 8 14-inch guns, 12 5-inchers in former or in casemate slots, and then a couple of secondary 5-inch in dual-barrel turrets. The Spanish have shown that they could very easily deal with the Italians, get rid of the French, and now can they get rid of the British as well? Let's find out as we start the battle. There's been a bit of discussion in the comment section about whether or not to turn on Torpedo Avoid, especially when fighting the Spanish. I haven't done it in the previous battles, and because of that, I don't want to do it in this one either, because I feel that that would kind of skew the results, potentially in the favor of the British. I want to keep the settings for all battles the same. And I want to make sure that there are no discussions about, hey, you should have turned this on because you did it in previous battles, or you didn't because you didn't do it in previous battles either. Now, the first bit of the battle is going to be long-range dueling. Can these guys actually get a bit of damage in? And the answer seems to be yes, as it's already one of the first 8.7-inch hits registered on the Spanish ships. Even though they're still very far away, with a volume of fire such as the British have, well, you're going to inevitably score some hits. The Spanish, by contrast, don't have the range, not yet. And these first few hits, well, they're mostly tickling the Spanish. It's just 12 damage, 19 or 11 damage. It won't really do that much. It probably won't set any fires, and considering that the Spanish have standard crew quarters, they really shouldn't immediately feel any kind of adverse effects from taking a few hits. I doubt they'll have... yeah, they don't have damage and stability. So that's not a concern. At whatever point the British decide to switch fire from their AP shells on the secondaries to the HE, that is when this battle is going to get decided. That's when I feel that the fires are going to start to overwhelm these crews. Now keep in mind that the previous encounters that the British have had, where for example against the Germans they quickly burned through those ships, they had the advantage of the enemy crews not having very good capabilities of dealing with damage. In the sense that they had cramped crew quarters, and because of that, any loss to the crew, any crew damage, if you will, quickly translated into loss of damage control ability. In this situation, it's not going to be that catastrophic quickly, but even the Spanish ships, if taken enough hits, will have issues here. They will start to take issue with losing a bunch of crew. It seems they're already starting to take issue with taking a bunch of damage from, at this point, the HE shells from the 8.7s and the AP shells from the 14-inch guns. To the tune that I saw some damage on one of the Spanish turrets, but it doesn't seem to be too severe. I would not want to be the lead Spanish ship taking all of this fire. So far, most of it's still missing. The range is still 13 kilometers. And interestingly, in this battle, it's in both parties' interests to close the distance. The British want to get more accurate with the secondaries, and I bet that the Spanish would love to get into torpedo range. Can the British take a torpedo? Not really. They have anti-flood 1. They have a double hull bottom. They do not have a torpedo blister. And as we have seen in the previous battle where the British fought the Germans were able to... were they able to sink or almost sink one of the British ships? because the bow and stern started to flood. They can do that again. That was a really good hit on the Immortalica. 1,000 points of damage. That was a bad hit. The torpedo aboard, or at least a torpedo aboard one of the battleships here has been detonated. Doesn't mean the torpedo tube has been destroyed, but it is one less torpedo for the British to worry about. The Immortalica is definitely going to face some damage instability now. Yeah, 38%. I want to see how much fire this Spanish ship can still take. And I mean fires set aboard the ship, because it seems like the ship is slowly but quickly, no, actually, really quickly raging out of control. Not so slowly. A lot of fires on that ship. And this seems to be the British strategy. As far as I can tell, it's working too. Destroyed another torpedo launcher, some damage to the main tower. We got a 92% ID. Damage-wise, they're pretty even. We got 1,900 for the Brits, 1,400 for the Spanish. Casemates damaged, funnels damaged, more fires are being set. Damage to main guns. At this range, I would definitely favor the odds for the British. Because they got all those 8.7s, which are getting ridiculously accurate. And it's definitely far away from the Spanish reach of their torpedoes. They got a 6.5 kilometer range. And they're still at 10.7. Now, supposedly, the 8.7s are a bit bugged. If you look at the accuracy for, let's say, 10 kilometer range, you got these with a Mark III, and they got a 2.2 to 4.5% chance to hit. The 8.7s are looking at 7.3 to 10%. That is a really good standard accuracy. And of course, that's going to get buffed by a trained crew, various rangefinders. You're definitely going to get far greater accuracy than you effectively should with these guns. Oh, the España has taken all of her torpedo launchers. They've all been damaged, they've all been knocked out. The crew has lost 27%. This means that the damage control for the Spanish is suffering. They're down to 89, and that's with the standard crew quarters. But even standard crew quarters, you cannot take damage like this. Just, it really starts to ramp up. Incendio. My Spanish isn't 100%, but I believe that does mean fire. Careful what you wish for, Incendio, because you just might get it. Now, how are the British ships doing? We've seen the Immortalica take a couple of really big hits. No flooding. The Spanish, interestingly, are firing HE. I wonder why that is. Do you think your HE shell is that good? Because I don't. I don't think it's going to be that good. What I do think is going to happen is snowballing. The Spanish are going to lose the España within the next 10 minutes, if not sooner. At that point, they've lost a third of their firepower, and the other ships will simply not be able to keep up. They will not be able, between the two of them, to knock out a British ship, unless they get lucky with the flooding. If they keep firing HE, though, with their primaries, that will not happen. And for some reason... What's the range to the Brits? 9 kilometers. Oh, they simply don't have range yet. I thought the 5 inches were bugged, but they don't have range. Oh, the España is basically done for. 41% crew loss. Pretty much every single part of that ship is on fire. So 1 or 2 more salvos from the Brits and the España is gone. Now, if the España, or Spain as a whole, loses this fight... What? The British... Oh god, the British have switched fire to the Astuto. I'm not sure that's a good idea. If the Spanish lose this fight, they're not out of the tournament. They're going to fight France in the losers round, where if they win, they can still come back into the absolute final. So it is... Well, there's a lot riding on this battle, but for neither party, it's a surefire elimination. Why did these guys switch fire to the Astuto? I don't get it. They're all suffering from low fuel, by the way. Except for Royal Sovereign. Oh, there you are. And now the Royal Sovereign also has low fuel. Even the Spanish, they got 25% fuel. Interesting. Astuto, definitely feeling the wrath of the British. They've lost all torpedo launchers, so the British very quickly negated that favor that the Spanish had. The Spanish have switched to armor piercing and they're targeting the Royal Sovereign. If they can get a couple of good hits on bow or stern, then these British ships can sink. Their flooding, well, let's say the flooding control capability is not phenomenal. They're back to HE? Oh, sorry, that's the Brits. Here's the Spanish. Astuto, 22% crew loss. 42.3 on the España, but the España is still in the fight. And we have switched fire again with the British, as the primaries are now switching between the Astuto and the Incendio. The secondaries, still going for the España. Make up your mind. España, Astuto, España. The AI just makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. I don't get what they're trying to do. Are they? Yeah, it looks like they're still trying to take out this one, while at the same time doing some primary gun damage, I guess, against the Astuto. Not that they don't need their secondaries for that. 43% on the España. España 43.6. The British could have had damage prevented if they just simply knocked out the España altogether. And even though the damage and stability on this ship is high, the range is so short that the penalty matters, but not as much. You're still getting about 1 in 3 chance to hit something, which doesn't exactly seem to affect the British too much. 44.9, 45. Somebody sneezed at the España, and there she goes. She's out of the fight. The España has surrendered. Incendio now taking flooding. The Incendio is the only ship that still has torpedo launchers left. But I think that's not going to remain the case for very long, as the British are very hard at work, knocking out torpedo launchers, setting fires, and just demolishing the ship with every single hit that comes in. Immortalica taking a bit of fire, but nothing too serious. Astuto, 28.4% lost. Another. I don't get it. Why are they not going for a full mission kill? $28.8 for 18%. 30% crew lost on the Astuto. 31. Surprisingly, really, the British haven't taken any flooding. And they can definitely get penned. Especially Barfleur at this angle. The whole Barfleur is fair game. But the Astuto focuses on the shortest range to the target, which is the Immortalica. The Immortalica has been flooding now. This could be bad for the Brits. There's more flooding. Flooding is the bane of these British ships. They're very, very good at the rest. But flooding and controlling flooding is definitely their weak spot. Buoyancy 56. Doesn't really matter, I think, because the Astuto is going to go down before that happens. 38.9. 39.9 crew loss. 40%. 41. Immortalica has the flooding under control. 43.6, 44.2, 44.5, 44.8, 45. Astuto surrenders. Incendio then. It's a done deal for the Spanish. Or perhaps I should say it's a done deal for the Italians. But we have a torpedo. And it switches course. Oh no. Oh, it could have hit the Royal Sovereign. Oh boy, that would have been a nice twist of events. But alas. Alas. Now, seeing as this tournament is already coming to an end, I am going to be running another tournament, and by this point, you can already send in your ship. Oh, good lord, that was fast. You can send in your ship. Link for that is down below. All the information that you need for sending in your ship down below. So, the British, victors against the Spanish. With this result, the UK is our first finalist. Who they fight in the finals remains to be seen. It's going to be decided by the battle between Spain and France. Now, Spain has beaten France before. Can they do it again? I don't know. Perhaps. Perhaps the French get lucky. Perhaps the French get a couple of blown up turrets on the Spanish ships. That could cause disaster. Let's see in the next round. Thank you for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys soon for the next battle.